Page 31, I danced with a mosquito. At the top of the page, they have a little blurb in there about broken chords. In my opinion, that's all wrong. I'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about the piece first, and then I'll come back to the broken chord thing. This is in 4/4 time. It's one chart, so we're either in G major or E minor, one or the other. So just look at it. Where's the fine? Where's the end of the piece? What's the end of the second line? What is that? What is that? Sounds like G major to me, so I'm guessing this is probably in G major. I have a feeling part of it is in G major and part of it is in E minor, because you can tell if it's in major or minor. It'll sound different, and you can tell, oh, we switched keys here, but at least it's starting and ending in G major. Let's just check the notes and rhythms and fingerings here. Right hand, you're starting here. The little wavy line, I'll come back to that. That's right now, just play them normal. 1 and they're saying 4/2. Well, if I'm going to do that, then I want to start with 5/2, because I'll just start with the second finger on the G. Why not? 1, 2. You see, at the beginning, that's really the chord, and then it goes to here. So that's the fingering for it. That's what I'm going to use. So it's 2/5, and then at 3. You can use a 2 if you have really big hands. You can use a 2/5. Otherwise, go ahead and then you do that again, but I'm going to use 2/5. And you lift up and come down. Here, they're saying 1, 2, 4. That's fine. And I do a 2/5 here. Bigger hands you can do that. Smaller hands you have to use 1/5. But if you're going to use 1/5 on that last note in the measure before, this is the first measure of the second line here, then use a 2 or a 3 on that last note. Your choice. So you're in position to go on. Here. That works out fine if you're going to do that. If you're going to use 2/5, then you can stay where you're at. Do it again. So fourth, third line. Again, 2/5 here, not 1/5. And in the second measure, the third line, whether it's 2/5 or 1/5 is up to you. It depends on how big your hands are. And the last line, they're saying 1, 3, is that it? You can get away with it here because both keys are black keys, so it doesn't matter. No matter how big your hand are, you'll be able to handle this. But with the next measure, if you want to do a 5, that's fine. Now, the next to last measure at the bottom, look out. If you're going to do this here, 2/5, then that last note in the previous measure, use 3, not 2. So it's here, so you're in position. So I don't use second finger for both of those. I don't like using the same finger for different notes like that if I can help it. We can't always help it, but let's try something different. So a third finger will do that. Now if you're going to use thumb, it doesn't matter. Left hand. Well, it's 1, 3, 1, 2. That's a G and an A. 2. It's a D and a C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line. 1 and 2. You don't have to use 4 and 3, although it's good practice because those are awkward fingers and we need to work them. So if you can, another finger you can try just to experiment with would be a 5/3. That's used 2. That's used more often than 4/3. You can always use a 4/2. Right now, I would suggest avoid 2/3. Or 2/1. You get 2/1 at the bottom. So it's your choice on how you're going to finger this in the second line. So you have options. 5/3, 4/3, 4/2, whatever. Just straight eighth notes. And then the last measure is here. And then third line down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, going from the second line to the third line. You're here, here, and then you can lift up. You can move, but you don't need to. There's no rest there. So it's just play the first one with 4/2 and then move. So I'm not moving much. So I do 4/2 on the first note in the third line. And there, it's a B and a G, B and an A, and again, and then come up. They're saying 2-1, that's good practice. See, when I do these, I just rotate the hand. I'm not holding the hand still and trying to do the fingers. Even in the second line, I'm rotating the hand. Put the hands together. Now watch out here in the left hand. In the first measure, you have quarter note, quarter rest, quarter note, quarter rest. Second measure, you got half notes. There's a difference. See? Third line down here. You take it your speed, not mine. I went a little fast. All you're trying to do is get the hands to work out together, and then you go back over the spots where you're hesitating or having problems with and work on those spots. Work that out. You need the beat to be a steady beat. It doesn't have to go fast right now, just a steady beat. Then we can go back and add the articulation. Well, slurs here. Lift up. It's just like taking a breath. So add the slurs in the right hand. The left hand, just play it connected except for the rests as best you can. And we add these what they're calling broken chords. Technically, yes, it's a broken chord, but we generally don't call them broken chords. You see, you have two flavors of chords. You're going to love it, huh? You got block chords, and you got broken chords. That's it. A block chord is when you play the notes in the chord at the same time. So, here, like at the beginning. Whatever it is, whatever the chord is, if they go down at the same time, or at least they're supposed to, that's a block chord. Anything else is a broken chord. So a broken chord could be this, like in the previous here. Well, that's a chord, but I didn't play them all at the same time, so that's a broken chord. And there's all kinds of patterns for broken chords. It's just all over the place. Well, what they're referring to here is what's normally known as an arpeggiated chord or a rolled chord. Well, let's cover that. Okay. Arpeggiated chord is just a big fancy word. It means play the notes one at a time from top to bottom or bottom to top. It's like the first measure out there on page 30 here. That's arpeggiated. Because I go up, then I go down. That's arpeggiated. That's an arpeggiated chord. A roll chord is a chord where you're going to play it top to bottom or bottom to top, but it's not done rhythmically. You just roll it. You don't worry about any rhythm at all. It's just done quickly, roll. Now, not all rolled chords are done fast. We'll get into that more later. Right now, just do it fast. So that wavy line in front of the first, at the beginning, right hand, on page 31, you hear, okay. That is the symbol for a rolled chord or a arpeggiated chord. So instead of playing it here, you're going to play it one note at a time quickly. Hold them both down. And second line, you got 3 notes. That's a rolled chord. You can have any number of notes in it and whatever. Now, people don't agree on how they're interpreted. It depends on your teacher and who you had. I've been taught different ways of doing it. Now, I generally follow the teaching I had in the last piano professor I had in college. He had the most influence on me on interpreting things. And that is, I will almost always play the first note in a rolled chord on the beat. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Well, it's easier. Let's go down to the second line. There's 3 notes there. So it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm playing the C on the beat. So it would be the C would come with the D. There. The only exception to that is when it's at the very beginning of a piece. I want the melody to be on the beat so that the first note is like a pickup note to it. So they're together. That's the only one. Otherwise, it's. Then third measure, then it's here. So it comes with the left hand. And that's how I usually interpret these. Other teachers, they teach where the melody note is always on the beat. So it's. It's hard for me to do. I'm not used to doing it. I always do it the other way. It's just different ways of interpreting it, and people have never agreed on it. Ever since there's been rolled chords, they haven't agreed on how they should be played. Some people say, well, in this instant you do, in this instance you don't, and in this time period you would do it this way, in this time period you do it the other way. I just pretty much all the way across, and it was that way in college, no matter of who I was playing. If I was playing Bach, or if I was playing Dohnanyi, or somebody in the 1900s. I played all the ornaments the same way. It didn't matter the time period. So you'll have to decide how you're going to do it, or your teacher will help you decide, but keep an open mind, because over time, if you happen to have different teachers, they're going to teach you different things. And my suggestion is just be open-minded. Just whatever they want you to do, go ahead and do it. But eventually, you're going to be able to put it all together and make it yours. And that's what we're after. As far as dynamic goes, we want to hear the melody. So if you can bring the melody out, do that. Otherwise, do the best you can. It starts out loud here. And it's soft. You're going to echo that. Second line, now you come up a little bit to moderate. Keep the left hand soft. Third line is the same as the first, and the last line, you're down to moderately soft or moderately loud again. The left hand is soft. Just keep the left hand in the background throughout. If you're struggling with that, I understand. I really do. This is not easy to do, but I'm asking you to keep trying. When you're practicing the scale, try playing it one hand louder than the other, and take turns as to which hand is loud. It's good practice. You need that control eventually. It's hard at first, but just be patient and keep after it. It will come. Speed-wise, well, this is between moderato and allegro. This is allegretto. It's somewhere in there. It's, what do you think? It's the flow of the piece. It's kind of a happy piece. It's a fun piece, a humorous piece, I guess. You'll have to decide on the speed you're going to take, and it needs to be accurate. Find the hardest part in it, probably the second line. How fast can you play that accurately? And that tells you how fast you can take it. Then they've added pedal. Well, if you want to screw it up, let's add pedal, because I think it sounds great without pedal. But we need to understand the effect the pedal is having. Why are we pedaling when we're pedaling? Well, in this piece, I really don't know. I see no reason for a pedal. But they put it in. It seems like Schaum, they're just putting pedal in everything. Faber does that too. But if I pedal it the way they're showing, this is the sound you're going to get. If that sounds okay to you, then that's fine. I think it sounds terrible. I like to hear the rests in the left hand. Rest, rest, and then a half note. There's a difference between them. I want to hear them. Well, I can get that anyway if I would just pedal the first and fourth, or first and third beats. So it's here. Then I can pedal the second measure all the way. And again. And again, in the second line, if I just pedal the first and third beats, that's the effect. So you see the difference in the effect the pedal can have just by making a couple of little adjustments and listening very carefully to the effect. So I would suggest if you're going to use pedal here, use it on the first and third beat only, and then lift up on the second and fourth beats. Now the last measure at the bottom, I don't know about that one. I don't want to smear all that. Now roadmap wise, there's a DC Alfini at the bottom. DC means go back to the beginning. Just memorize that. Da capo, go back to the beginning at the top. Alfine means go to fine. Fine is at the end of the second line. And again, I believe this book is in error because the double bar you see at the end of the second line, that should be a thin and thick bar, not two thin bars in my opinion. The thin and thick bar is the symbol for end of a piece. It's like at the bottom of page 30. There at the end, you see that? So you can take a pencil and just widen out that second bar a little bit and make it a thick bar. And you play to there. So we're going to do all four lines, and then you go back and do the first two lines again. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and everything. I'm not going to do any dynamics, but we will do the DC Alfine thing. I'll give us 4 counts. Let's just go over it very slowly together. Now I'm only going to pedal the first and third beat of each measure, except for when there's half notes in the left hand. I'm going to pedal the whole measure on most of those. 1 and 2 and ready and go and.